Time for the ride home in ENC.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
This is your 5 o'clock drive with Patrick Johnson.
Holy mackerel!
More news, more interviews, more ECU stories than you can shake a stick at. Hey, stop shaking that stick. This is the Patrick Johnson Show.
Pirates win! Pirates win!
On 94.3 The Game.
All right, welcome. Nice to have you with us here. Friday TGIF. We made it. It is the Patrick Johnson Show. We're getting ready for the weekend. And we're getting ready for all kinds of sports. Great weekend with the Sweet 16. Games decided last night. Half the field is there. We'll get into that on our top 5. Jonathan Wagner from On 3. Field of 64 projections each week via Wags of On 3. Plus, we'll talk baseball and some other things with Jonathan Wagner. Philip the Ref Pilkington is here. Pilk will be, of course, I guess a man about town. I don't know what he's doing this weekend.
I'll be softball with you Friday and Sunday.
Oh, will you? Okay, so you'll be there tonight. Through the magic of radio, we have softball right now on ESPN Plus, UAB at ECU, on the call of that and on the call on Sunday. Late edition on that, Pilk. I'm not sure what happened. I'm not going to question. I'm just going to be thankful for the work, as I always am. I don't take it for granted. I don't assume it's my birthright. So I will be there and do the work that needs to be done. What else? Is there anything? Oh, yes. You mentioned a little earlier the watch-along. As far as I know, there's going to be one Saturday. Mully, I don't know if he was trying to strong-arm me out of that or not.
Dang.
But that's what I said. But I told him I'm ready to go on Saturday for the Inside the Dugout with Mully watch-along. My name is not anywhere on the marquee. I noticed my name's not on a lot of things, but that's okay. As your 5th favorite host on this very radio station, 94.3 The Game, I gladly accept my plight in life. I'm just here. Like I tell you people all the time, I'm merely a working-class hero. I put my britches on one leg at a time like a lot of you. Nothing special about anything. Nothing at all. But I tell you what is pretty damn special, the top 5 at 5. Let's do it right now.
This may very well be our last mission. Let's make it count.
This is the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
It's impossible.
Now some stories you may have heard.
You ready?
Or catch it for the first time. This is your 5 at 5 with the P-Man.
What kind of food is there for the radiothon, by the way? I mean, this is a big food weekend for you. You better get something because they don't serve food at ECU softball. I don't know if you know this.
They do not.
But you need to grub up there if that's the case.
Got some Bojangles sweet tea. Had me a Bojangles biscuit this morning.
Mm-hmm. All right. And they have, but they run a lunch in there?
They run a lunch in there, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, tell me what's being served later. I might stop by.
All righty.
Perhaps.
Number one.
Go ahead. This is the Wolfpack.
Number one, baby. Number one, Will Wade resigns via email. PJ, it went through. He did it via email. If he would have done it via snail mail, the Pony Express would have lost it because you can't trust the federal government. So at least it went through, and he chose email instead of snail mail. Just throwing that out there.
I was trying to think about this. Have you ever left a job in a blaze of glory, Pilk, like in a situation that was not well handled? So when I left here, I told Henry plenty of time. When I left Raleigh, I don't think I left Raleigh on my own accord. They left me. When I left Orlando, I left. So you do everything the right way when you leave. And sometimes they say, well, would you mind preparing for the record a statement? And you, can I email you the statement? And that's what you do. It's old school. So that's how I would. I'm sure there's a modern way to do it now through the .coms and the AIs. Speaking of which, it was an AI statement that apparently Will Wade put out in his Twitter that he doesn't even run. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Boo Corrigan spoke. It was like Roscoe P. Coltrane holding a press conference. Do we have the audio?
We do, yeah. Here's the opening
This is
statement.
what Boo Corrigan had to say. This is his opening statement.
Philip Rivers said it, right? and thinking about who we are, what we are, the Wolfpack ain't for soft people. We're going to go find a coach that agrees and understands who we are and what we are. For the past 7 years, we built a culture in the athletic department based on trust and accountability. We got coaches that want to be at NC State. They want to be a part of who we are, what we are, and represent this great university. We thought we had someone that came in last year to lead our men's basketball program. And over the course of the last year, we had developed a relationship that I believe was based on trust and accountability. There were a number of different conversations that had occurred over the past year involving our program, involving everything else in the landscape of college sports, including Tuesday evening for 2 hours to talk about the entire program and scheduling and the players and staff and everything that goes into that. The Wolfpack ain't for soft people.
Yeah. Yeah. This is the statement about the email. Play that real quick.
As far as the resignation letter, it was an email, right, that we received from his agent and talking with his agent.
So he gave no indication, did Will Wade, of this on Tuesday night after a 2-hour meeting. That's the big takeaway I take from the clip. Now, the other part of this is Will Wade belongs at LSU because he and football coach. Help me here.
God, it's not Brian Kelly. He's got Lane Kiffin.
Lane Kiffin. Peas in a pod.
Oh, yeah.
A couple guys that have not won anything. The infamous making a garden utensil a housewife. You can't. I mean, look. I'll say this about the McNeese thing with Will Wade. At least he was kind of upfront with them, and that guys, this will be a 1-2 year kind of proposition, and McNeese bought into it.
Yeah,
they had tremendous success, and they got to the Sweet 16 of at least won a game in the tournament. Might have got to the Sweet 16. But they won a game for sure. Yeah, because Will Wade's never coached in the Sweet 16. His team made it 1 year, but he was not available for suspension. In some ways, and look, there's a lot of NC State slanted media. Well, this shouldn't reflect poorly on the Wolfpack. Yes, it should, because your AD didn't have the forethought to make the penalty hurt whoever was going to. I mean, yeah. I don't think it would have mattered. I think LSU would have come up with the money because they wanted and coveted Will Wade. They may be one of the only places that actually wants Will Wade. But, I mean, it was a year and a day that he was back on a plane heading to Baton Rouge yesterday. So what's the pressure in West Raleigh to get this hire right? There's got to be.
It's everything. I mean, you were in a Final Four a few years ago. You canned the guy who took you there. Now you make this mistake. And like you said, PJ, it's one thing if they poach him. It's another thing when they poach him for couch change. It would have been different if this buyout was $20 million and you said, hey, guess what? You buy out our football or our basketball coach, no problem, because our football is going to be fully vested in rev share next year because you're going to pay our rev share with your SEC money. That would have been fine. Make it $20 million. Nobody's upset. I mean, they're still upset at Will Wade.
The other thing is this. Yeah, and I understand a lot of Wolfpack fans are upset with Will Wade, and they probably should be, although you kind of had to know the guy was a used car salesman.
It ain't as bad as the Darian Mensah situation. That's all I got to say.
Well, that's true. That's true. But, I mean, that's a player who's only acting in their own greedy interest. Mm-hmm. Doesn't excuse it. Mensah was a pain in the ass, but let's save that conversation for another
I'm still
day.
mad, PJ, if you can't tell.
I know you are. I know. But the other part of it is this, though, with Will Wade. You kind of knew what you were getting into with Will Wade, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, the thing with Mensah, we all know, hindsight 2020, that he was a diva and a real trouble to deal with.
Yeah.
But with Wade, we already knew the track record. This shouldn't be surprising. If I'm an NC State fan, I am not happy with Boo Corrigan for
the Wolfpack ain't for soft people.
That's right, Boo Corrigan. I'm not I'm not happy with him because of a couple of things. And one of them is the buyout was so low. That, because Odom at Virginia, I think, was hired around the same time.
Yeah.
His name was kicked around just briefly for the Wolfpack job, if I think back to a year ago. He could have. Because Odom's buyout's like $15 million from what I understand.
Yeah.
He could have put at least a $10 million buyout on Will Wade. And if it's going to drop it to $7 million or $8 million after April 1st. But they settled it on 4, which is better than 3. But it's still a ridiculously low number for a guy that was there a year. Now, I ask you this every so often, Pilk. How good is the job?
It's not great.
I disagree. I think you can have a $10 million roster. That's what they had this year. That's comparable. I mean, that's a top 25, top 30 amount this year for roster acquisition. You went to a Final Four 2 years ago. You've won national championships there. There's tradition.
There's something missing there. And I can't put my finger on it. Well, it's leadership. That's what's missing there. That's the problem, PJ. Yes, if you look at it from a numerical standpoint, yes, it is a great job. But it seems like even with the numerical value there, they need to invest more in football. They can't be, losing bowl games to the crazy cousin down the road is how they view us. And just, I don't know, PJ. I'm on good, not great, just solely because, what the hell have they done since 1983?
That's a good point.
Number 2.
Number 2, we'll keep it on the hard court last night. First 4 games of the Sweet 16 went final. Hope you were able to sit for the early games. Those were pretty entertaining. The latter 2, not so much. Houston hung around. They were at least fouling at the end. However, Arizona wallops Arkansas. Calipari underperforming in the tournament. Who could have wrote that? Illinois beats Houston by 10. Iowa, 9-seeded Hawkeyes. And the Cornhuskers and the Iowa Hawkeyes win that one. Cornhuskers will not go to their first Elite Eight, and Purdue over Texas 79-77 with a tip-in with just under a second to go.
Texas goes small at the end because they were trying to switch off at everything. That was a great game, by the way.
Yeah.
And I still don't trust Matt Painter to get to the Final Four because it's Matt Painter. He got there once, but he had the best player in the country. So, it's still Matt Painter, and it's still Purdue. And what do they got, Arizona?
Yeah, Arizona's going to beat the ever-loving mess out of them.
Arizona. I don't know if it's going to be a blowout, but Arizona's going to beat them.
You're going to know. You're going to know the whole game.
What's interesting, and look, everybody says, well, here's Dookie Pilk. No. Even I said this, other people said this. Duke was in the toughest, and that's bared out. They were in the toughest regional. The region with Houston, I don't know. Florida wasn't playing their best ball. I get, maybe they were the lesser of the 4 seeds, or the top number 1 seeds, excuse me. But Houston, how do you let this slip through your hands? It's all set up. You're on your home floor basically, and you lose. But you know what? They have such offensive challenges, and I get there's a style that wins them a lot of games. It's a physical, brutal style. It's predicated on defense. But at some point, you've got to be able to score the basketball.
Yeah.
It wasn't like they only managed 55 points against Duke or Arizona or
St. John's.
St. John's, who's brutal on defense. It wasn't like they didn't get 55 points against Illinois.
Yeah.
I just,
It was their region to lose. I'm sorry. I'm just going to come out and say it was their region to lose. They should be. They're better than Florida. They're better than Illinois. They're better than whoever the 4 was in that region. I know Vandy was the 5.
They're on their home floor. On their home floor. By the way, how about a little scene from the movie Hoosiers being played out by the mayor, Fred Hoiberg, there?
I did see
sending
that.
4 guys out on the floor late in the game. What happened? What happened there?
Dude, I don't know.
How does that happen?
Better than 6. You don't
All
get
right.
teed up.
Well, that's true. Maybe that's what it was.
That's what it was.
We don't want to put 6 out. We'll just put 4 out.
All righty. Yeah, there you go. Tonight, St. John's and Duke, Bama and Michigan, Sparty and UConn. That'll be the game of the night, hopefully. And Tennessee, Iowa State. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, I think Duke should be able to win with Big Pat back in the lineup. I think he'll play more than 15 minutes. I hope he'll play more than 15 minutes. It also allows Duke – you don't have the best big then guarding Boozer because they have to account for Big Pat.
Yeah.
And so that defensively changes things for the opponent. St. John's is not really big anyway. St. John's also can't shoot. They cannot shoot a lick. If they had been able to shoot, that game against Kansas never would have been close because they'd have been up by 20 or 25 points. And Kansas would not have been within arm's length enough to claw back in it and make it a game down the stretch. That is if St. John's could shoot. They can't shoot. Now watch them. They'll fill it up tonight. I like Duke. Yeah.
I was just say tonight.
Yeah.
St. John's wants a knockdown, drag out, get Boozer in foul trouble kind of game. If you're Duke, you want it to look like Steph Curry and Klay Thompson are the only guys on the court, and it's just jack 3, jack 3, jack 3.
Well, I don't know about Jackie threes. I just think you get up and down.
Yeah. Track meet. You want to track meet.
Yeah. You want to get up and down the floor. So I do like Duke tonight. I think their talent could win out in the end. There's something about Michigan State against UConn. UConn's not been great. And Michigan State's playing pretty well right now. But I think either way, CBS and the tournament gets what they want on Sunday in that coveted before 60 minutes television window on Sunday afternoon. They will get a big-time matchup. They would love it to be Duke versus either of the other two. They don't care. Yeah. It'll be a big matchup. Iowa State, I guess the best player. We don't know his status yet. So we'll see how that sort of plays out. And then give me the other one again.
Michigan and Bama. I think Michigan's in a row. I don't think Bama's ready for this contest.
No, this isn't the I mean, everybody talks about Nate Oates to Chapel Hill. No. When your best player gets busted with enough ganja for a Cheech and Chong movie, and you played an ineligible player, the Nate Oates thing. God, the SEC. Anytime we talk about the SEC, I feel like I need a shower. I really do. So give me Michigan, and I'll still take Iowa State.
Yes,
I'm a believer.
4.
All righty, number 4. Yesterday, the St. Louis Cardinals were down 7-1 entering the 6th inning. They went on an 8-run rally, and when the game was tied at 7, this is what happened to give them a 9-7 lead.
Swing and a drive. Belton right. Burley admires that one. She is long gone.
That was Alec Burleson giving the Cardinals a lead that they did not squander as part of a 3-hit day for the Pirate alum.
I told you you'd hit 20 bombs this year at least, right?
You did.
Did I not say that the other day on the IGO baseball extravaganza? Did
you
I
did.
not? Yep. Was that our friend of the show, Chip Carey, on the call?
I believe so. Yeah.
We need to get Chip back on before the Cardinal season goes south.
Yeah. Won't take long.
I have him talk.
Better get him on in the next week.
Yeah. May need to do that. Was that 5? Yeah, that was 5, wasn't it? Okay. You sure? No, that was 4.
Oh, that was 4. Oops.
Yeah.
I skipped one. We got ECU baseball tonight, 7 o'clock.
5.
Pilk playing me out like
I know. I saw Wag sign on. I was trying to get him on. I apologize. ECU baseball.
That's fine. We have plenty of time. I didn't want to rush through this.
5.
Come on, Pilk.
5.
I'm just making mistakes all week today. Bad second half of the week for me. It's all the food they're feeding us here has got me slowed down. That's what it is.
Food coma.
Yeah, food coma. All righty. Number 5, ECU baseball will be in action tonight. 7 o'clock will be at 6:45 airtime right here on 94.3. The game is they head out to San Antonio to play UTSA. Also, as PJ already mentioned, softball in action right now, starting their weekend series against 0-9 UAB. Come on, ladies. We need a sweep 6-3 on the season, going 2-1 each weekend.
Yeah, look, in order to find yourself into a situation where you get a top 2 seed in the tournament for softball, you need to get a sweep somewhere in there. I think they felt like they let one get away on the road at Memphis. We talked about that a little bit yesterday. So a lot of pressure. Shane Winkler didn't want to say much when I talked to him yesterday, but UAB's scuffling right now, especially offensively. As for the baseball tonight, Pilk, does the Ethan Norby start have a little more pressure on it than maybe he's already applied to himself this year?
Yeah. No GVK, no Weber. Yeah, it does.
I mean, the pitching's questionable against a team that can hit, against a team that can really hit in that Little League ballpark that they play in. This is going to be interesting to see how it plays out tonight. Or this weekend, really. It really is, because as we have said for the last week, it don't get much easier. You had Duke, where we saw how that turned out on Tuesday, at UTSA, which is just a horrible place to play. Then you got Wilmington here Tuesday, which, I mean, it'll be another knockdown drag-out. Charlotte comes in, and then Duke back in your play. I mean, this is a tough little stretch here.
Yeah.
This could be the stretch we look back on in May and saying to ourselves, that was the stretch that, sparked the turnaround in a sense, where they started to get it together and build something, or, the stretch that maybe it didn't help them.
Yeah.
Let's just say that.
Yeah.
All right, you want to play the music now? What are you playing us out with, by the way?
I don't know, just a bed we haven't played in a while. I'm just going down the list of beds here.
All right. Kind of funky. I like it.
Yeah, not bad.
I do like this. All right. Look, I like you.
But you love Wags.
I do love Wags. Jonathan Wagner on 3. Do we have a shot of him? There he is. Mustachioed Wags. The great Jonathan Wagner from On 3 with his Field of 64 projection. And we'll get his thoughts on the series coming up.
The best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers in Greenville, plus the all-new Tiebreakers in Winterville. Do real burgers better than anybody. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers, real burgers at its best.
Everybody loves burgers.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt & Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro-adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt & Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Healthwise Pharmacy rounds the bases with all of your infusion, retail, compounding, and medical equipment needs. Locally owned and operated by pharmacist Marcy Parker, Healthwise has grown to be your most trusted provider for infusion services. Currently providing in-home or on-site infusions in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. Visit Healthwise Pharmacy at 615B South Memorial Drive or call 252-295-0059 to speak to a patient service representative to find the option that best suits your needs.
In this age of globalization, we've learned that bigger isn't always better. Ever tried to get phone help from a big corporation from a real person? Right. That's what's so nice about Phelps Chevrolet. After more than 50 years serving our community, Phelps remains family-owned and operated. Mike, Daryl, Wave, West, Alan, and Clay deliver hometown service and integrity, same as always. They share your experience, they share your values, and they are ready to help with any motoring need. Come get you one.
This is about you, your family, and the health of all who live in Eastern North Carolina. This is about the transformation of a health system into something more powerful and more human. About creating new ways to treat disease and keep you well. This is about ECU Health, which is to say, it's really all about you. ECU Health. Minds, hearts, purpose.
Make every day electric on the Kawasaki Electro 20 electric balance bike. Maximize the fun with long run times, impressive top speed, and Kawasaki build quality. Easy adjustability and smooth handling make everyday riding more enjoyable. And the standard MTB type tires provide off-pavement capability. The Kawasaki Electro 20 is the electric balance bike that's built to rip. Go to Ron Ayers Motorsports, Memorial Drive north of the airport, Greenville.
Back to the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
Welcome back. We got a jam-packed show, so let's get started.
Deep breath. Here we go.
On three's Jonathan Wagner, ECU alum, and one of our favorite guests, especially when we get to this time of the year, is joining us here today on the Patrick Johnson Show. Attaboy, Pilk, the $3. I love it. I love it. There we go for the vast video audience. Wags. All right. Jonathan, good to have you on. It was great to see you last week. I meant for the three of us to take a photograph so we could use it for promotional purposes, but unfortunately, I forgot. So that's in my mind. I thought this is what I want to do. When are you going to be back in town? That's the big question. Next weekend?
I should be back on Friday against Charlotte.
For Charlotte?
So,
okay.
Yeah,
right.
that's the plan.
Do you work Thursday? Because they have Thursday where they are playing. It's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday because of the Easter holiday.
Yeah, Thursdays are my night shift, so I work until midnight there. So I'll be watching out.
Good
from home.
Lord. Okay. All right. Well, Mully and I will be on the call, so you can suffer through that. No, actually, we won't on Thursday. We have softball on Thursday. I do. Charlotte softball against ECU. And then they're doing the last two with the full production on baseball. That's the schedule next week. Pretty wild. All right. The great Jonathan Wagner. I asked Philip this question. I'll ask you. Boy, Ethan Norby has really not been sharp. And he's been good, but he's not been the Norby that we saw last year. I think there is a lot of pressure that he's put on himself. There's a few other things as well. But, boy, he's got a lot of pressure on him in this game tonight, does he not?
Yeah, he absolutely does. And, even the last couple of weeks with, losing Colby Weber, the pressure has already been higher because, Gavin Van Kempen's been good, but I've been kind of waiting. Like, eventually he's only going to give you 4 or 5 innings, and then, of course, he gets hurt too. So it's just a tough spot for the pitching staff. But I thought Norby was really good last weekend. He gave you 6 strong innings against UAB, a team that can really, really hit. So you got to build off of it. He's still, I don't think he's locating his fastball. He's leaving his fastball over the plate, and he's still, giving up free passes, putting guys on when he gets 2 strike counts. So you've still got to clean it up. But last week I thought was a really big positive step in the right direction. So he's got to build off of it. And now he has to. Because without Van Kempen and without Weber this weekend, then if Norby doesn't go out and give you 6 at the minimum tonight, then your pitching staff is probably not in a position to win all 3. So if Norby doesn't have a good outing tonight, then I think this team's already playing from behind the 8 ball for the rest of the weekend. So the pressure is 100% on, and he needs to just do what he does to make Ethan Norby. And we haven't seen a whole lot of that this year. But I think we've started to see more and more of it as the season's progressed.
You were in Durham on Tuesday with Pilkington, and I'm sure he talked to you the whole time. So I don't know if you got to really concentrate on the game or not, because Pilk probably just has kept talking.
No, Casey was the one who kept talking and talking to him.
Wait a minute. No. I call hijinks on this. Casey has not said 3 words in his life. I don't think Casey said a word. I don't think Casey said a thing.
We were separated. Philip left me for press row up at the top of whatever that stadium is. So
what? You left Wags?
I left him with Casey. I didn't leave him by himself.
God, poor.
Don't worry. We had a little crew
Wags.
there. We had Casey. I was with Scott Lorbatcher. So, you know.
Okay. Yeah. All right, good. Good deal.
Whose Reds lost to my Red Sox yesterday, just saying.
By the way, your Nats laid it on the Cubby Bears yesterday. We get all these announcements. We've signed this. We've signed Nico, and we've signed all this excitement in Chicago, and then you come out and lay an egg against the stinking Nats.
Yesterday was the most runs the Nats have ever scored on opening day as the Nationals.
Pour salt in an open wound.
No way. Yesterday, the Nats with a franchise record, 10 runs on opening day.
The first time they've been above 500 since, I believe, 2021. So,
well,
gosh, Patrick just salting an open wound. PJ's having a rough day.
Look,
I've got to get it in while I can because it won't last very long.
It may not last long. You might as well enjoy it while you can. No, I mean, you need to enjoy it while you can. So anyway, you were there. Does that loss have any? I mean, because now you've lost a game where UAB thumped you pretty good Sunday, and even small balled you late. I thought that was kind of interesting in the latter stages of that game against UAB. And then you've got, look, a lot of questions still out of Tuesday. Why didn't we see Sean Jenkins late? I mean, so there's a lot of things to kind of ask here. But is anything you've seen over the last two games that kind of leads you to believe, boy, this is going to be a real tough putt this weekend?
Yeah, I think Tuesday was tough. And it was a game where, Duke is not the Duke that we've seen the past few years, and they were without one of their best hitters as well. So, but Duke is still a good team that's going to be, at the very least in bubble consideration by the end of the year, I think, just because of their RPI is going to get there. But it's a tough game. And, of course, you faced a former Pirate, Drew Bryan, on the mound to start the game. So, but once you got him out early, I felt pretty good. The offense they scored 8 runs, but I still didn't feel like the offense was very sharp. So it's from that standpoint, they still produced runs against an ACC pitching staff, and they didn't look that great. But at the same time, they didn't look that great, and we've seen that time and time again. But I mean, on the surface, the loss isn't a big reason for concern, but and I don't know if we want to get too deep into this, but I just think the emotions of the post game that gives me a bad vibe going into the weekend too. So it makes me wonder, is the team kind of in that kind of just defeated, frustrated mindset going into a must-win series? So that would be concerning. But on the surface, the loss itself, that's a solid baseball team, one that's pretty close to the same level as you, I think. And so I'm not going to read too much into the loss itself, but there are some questions. You're right.
So what is ECU facing with UAB this weekend? I know they're in the top maybe 15 in batting, close to the top 10 in runs. They've been pretty prolific. They did lose a series, one of their final non-conference series a couple weeks ago. But and look, here's the other thing, boys. I don't know if you knew this. It's Greek night tonight at UAB or UTSA. Excuse me. It's Greek night.
Does that mean everybody's going to be in togas, or what does that mean?
That means all of the fraternities and I guess sororities will be out in full throat tonight, and I'm sure lubed up, with some cerveza or something. There'll be some the libations for those of age will probably be flowing. So I bring that up to say I'm sure it's going to be a rowdy environment. Wasn't this the crowd too that during the football game where they kicked our tail, but they had the team come out and get their baseball regular season championship rings? Didn't they pull that stunt?
They did, yeah. And supposedly our guys were like walking back to the locker room at halftime, and they were just chirping the heck out of them, saying things that would get us fined by the FCC if I repeated them on the radio.
Are the football players?
The UTSA baseball team was saying that to our football players. I guess a couple of our coaches kind of had to get in the way and be like, let's not do that.
So I mean, this is everybody talks about the tough environment and the great environment at Clark LeClaire, which you could attribute fully to the jungle. The grandstands on some nights, it's like a library. But this UTS thing, because they're going to be right on top of you in that bandbox. I mean, this I don't know. This is just Wags. I'm nervous about this weekend. I'm not going to lie. This has a real feel like, ooh.
Yeah, you have every right to be nervous this weekend because I'm nervous too. And it's one thing because, the UTSA field is what it is. We saw it, last time we were there. The infield's not great, so you might get some weird bounces. So just going into it, you already have the feeling that it's like, okay, it's just one bounce might set this thing off in the wrong direction. But I do think we're a lock between Cliff Godwin and Pat Hallmark. I think Cliff Godwin's probably going to get ejected this weekend. That was my prediction coming into the week. And I wouldn't be surprised if Hallmark does too, because those two kind of seem to feed off of energy. And I think once one of them gets going, the other one's going to get going too. So I wouldn't be surprised if both of them go this weekend. But yeah, it's going to be a tough series. UAB can hit. UTSA can hit. I did the same thing you did. But they're hitting 326 as a team, 36 homers. Ooh. And, ECU is right above 300. I think they have 23 homers on the season. So it's one of those things that if UTSA gets one or two of those, long balls, no matter which game it comes in, then it might be tough for ECU to overcome. Now, UTSA can't pitch. They lost their Friday night guy on opening day, which was tough. But it's seeing this offense against some of the teams that we thought couldn't pitch earlier this season, they haven't exactly wowed me. So I just don't know. I don't know what to trust. I feel like it's a series that if ECU shows up, then they have a legit chance in, but they just haven't been consistent enough for me to believe that they can take it.
Yeah. They also, I think it was the UT Arlington series, which they lost. They had like a record for fans for a series, which, I mean, the total wouldn't even be one game at East Carolina, but it's just. But I mean, I think it's going to be packed out tonight, and I think with the fraternities and sororities and perhaps in togas, those people will be insane tonight. They are going to be fired up for this. I'd be surprised if it's either going to be a hell of a game or they're going to be really loaded for bear. And if we're on our heels, it could be a long night. I hate to say that because I like to think that we'll respond, but I mean we could still play well and it not go well tonight because I think they're going to be so amped up and juiced up at the Bad News Bears ballpark there. Anyway,
what's worse, their stadium or Coombs?
Ooh.
I would have to say theirs. Duke has done a lot of work, and they are in the process of doing a lot of work at Coombs.
Yeah.
So now, I was in Coombs doing a game a couple weeks ago, and the press box, like I opened the door to go into the TV booth, and there's a giant curtain behind, and that's the background that they shoot you because it is literally as big as a table. It's a tight fit in that booth.
I noticed that the other day when I went in there. Yeah, I went in there to speak to Darren, and it was like, oh my goodness. Yeah, I poked my head, I'm like, oh, Darren will be good to say hey. And I opened the door and I run into that thing. I felt like I was supposed to be doing the cover for a movie, and I was supposed to bust through, and it was going to be a photo of me. That's what I felt like I was supposed to do.
Do you have any baseball questions for Wags Pilkington?
Yeah, Wags, you've been doing your field of 64. How many teams?
About this game we're going to do the field of 64.
Oh yeah, no, okay. Well, I have field of 64 questions.
Oh, okay, all right. Pilk, can we take a break? We still do a 3-segment.
Yep.
Wags, are you good? Can you hang through a break, Wags?
Oh yeah, I'm good.
All right, the great Jonathan Wagner. Wags, going to break really quick. Give me your prediction for the series this weekend. ECU at UTSA. What are you predicting?
1-2 and a Cliff Godwin ejection.
1-2, Cliff Godwin ejection. Okay, when we come back, we'll explore the field of 64 with On 3's Jonathan Wagner.
This is about you, your family, and the health of all who live in Eastern North Carolina. This is about the transformation of a health system into something more powerful and more human. About creating new ways to treat disease and keep you well. This is about ECU Health, which is to say, it's really all about you. ECU Health. Minds, hearts, purpose.
You have a choice when you invest in insurance, and when you choose First State Insurance Advisors, you're working with people you can trust. Clark Stallings has deep ties in the community. His team, including Keaton Smith, Regina Asby, Phil Leyva, Max Joyner Jr., Max Joyner III, and Ginger Smith, provides knowledgeable and professional advice. First State Insurance Advisors is an independent insurance agency. They offer all types of personal insurance as well as various types for business. Call or email First State Insurance Advisors today. We want to be your trusted choice agency.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you Farm to Fork Beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to Fork Beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown.
Daughtridge Gas and Oil has been your dependable propane supplier for 95 years. Their trained technicians can service and properly install all your propane and natural gas appliances. Plus, Daughtridge Gas and Oil is your backyard expert with fire pits, grills, smokers, and more, including quality outdoor furniture at their Greenville Patio and Hearth Shop at 1901 Charles Boulevard. Go by and see the knowledgeable staff at Daughtridge Gas and Oil for propane delivery or call 756-1345.
Healthwise Pharmacy rounds the bases with all of your infusion, retail, compounding, and medical equipment needs. Locally owned and operated by pharmacist Marcy Parker, Healthwise has grown to be your most trusted provider for infusion services. Currently providing in-home or on-site infusions in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. Visit Healthwise Pharmacy at 615B South Memorial Drive or call 252-295-0059 to speak to a patient service representative to find the option that best suits your needs.
In this age of globalization, we've learned that bigger isn't always better. Ever tried to get phone help from a big corporation from a real person? Right. That's what's so nice about Phelps Chevrolet. After more than 50 years serving our community, Phelps remains family-owned and operated. Mike, Daryl, Wave, West, Alan, and Clay deliver hometown service and integrity, same as always. They share your experience, they share your values, and they are ready to help with any motoring need. Come get you one.
And now, the stunning conclusion.
Why is everyone screaming?
On 94.3 The Game.
All right, Jonathan Wagner on 3. And Philip Pilkington here as well. All right, Pilk, since you had fielded 64 questions, I'll let you start here.
All right, Wags, so how many bids do you think the Americans getting out large-wise? Do you think it's just one, or is there an opportunity to get two prior to the conference tournament?
Well, I think right now it's more likely 2 than 1. And, you know, in my field of 64 this week, coming into the week, I had South Florida as the projected American champion, and I had them as a 2 seed. And UTSA, who 2 weeks ago was my projected American champion, they're still in my field. They're a 3 seed. They're starting to push towards the line a little bit. Their RPI is starting to kind of tail off because they lost the series last weekend, like Patrick said, and they're starting to lose some games. But if UTSA just takes care of business and hangs with South Florida there, then they're both probably going to be in the field. And I had East Carolina in the first 4 out, and that's just more of a pitching injury and not really sure if this team is capable of going on a deep run to get back in there. But if ECU is at least top 2 or 3 in the American, then they're going to be in the conversation. I just don't know if they're going to have enough meat on the bone to add a third team to bubble consideration because I'm not sold on Charlotte.
All right, Wax, let me ask you this. Are you saying that there is a potential for there to be 3 teams in the tournament out of the American? Am I hearing that right?
It's possible, but you're going to need a lot to go right is how I see it. Because South Florida right now, even if they don't win the conference tournament, they're in as of right now. But, you know, a lot could change. The bottom of the conference still isn't very good. And UTSA, like I said, is kind of right there. So if, you know, UTSA could be in a tricky situation depending on how they do as conference play rolls along.
All right, Pilk, I'm sorry. I just wanted to follow up with that.
No, all good. That's what I had. That was my big thing.
That's it?
Oh, I mean, I can keep going for sure, but
Well, I thought you had multiple.
oh yeah, no, I've got it. I've got it. So Wags, right now, how sold are you on this UCLA thing? We've kind of talked about it off the air. The roster looks good, the depth in the pitching, but is the Big Ten going to hurt them? Are they going to be Gonzaga in basketball the past few years and not be battle tested enough going into this thing? And, could this also hurt their seeding just because they're not playing anybody? Or do you think they're the number one seed?
I am all in on UCLA. I think they are so good. Their lineup can beat you 1 through 9. Their pitching is deep. Their pitching is good rotation-wise, bullpen-wise. But they're my number one seed. And part of that is I don't know yet who the real top team in the SEC is. It's Texas right now, and whoever wins the SEC is going to be the other team in consideration for the first overall seed. But I just think UCLA is going to run away with the Big Ten, so that's going to help them. And it could push their RPI down a little bit because the Big Ten's not great out of the top, 3, maybe 4 teams. USC is another host, Oregon's another potential host, but outside of them, it gets really kind of bubbly and then beyond the bubble. So that's the only thing that could stop UCLA. But pure baseball-wise, man, they're good. They're legit. They're the favorite to win it all in my eyes. So they are my number one overall seed right now, and it's going to take a lot for them to be pushed out of that too.
The nice thing about that too, Jonathan, is that huge conference. Not everybody's going to play everybody, but they do play those other 2 West Coast teams that you mentioned. So yeah.
Wags, Jonathan Wagner on 3. Who are your top 8 seeds right now?
In order, I have UCLA at 1, Texas at 2, Georgia Tech at 3, Mississippi State, who I really like, at 4, Florida State at 5, Auburn at 6, Arkansas at 7, and Georgia at 8. So it's very SEC and ACC heavy, outside of UCLA at the top, but those teams right now are separated. So, yeah.
What's going to happen to Florida State? I was going to say, what's going to happen to Florida State this week when Duke sweeps them?
They will fall, but I don't see that would happen. I also really like that Florida State team, too.
Yeah. All right. Who's 9 through 16?
I have USC at 9, Virginia at 10, Arizona State, my Big 12 champion, at 11, North Carolina at 12, Coastal Carolina, I'm still buying in, at 13, Oklahoma 14, West Virginia 15, and Southern Miss at 16.
Wow. All right. How about, 2 Fun Belt teams in there. How about that? How about State? Where do you have the Wolfpack forecast right now in your field of 64?
They are a 2 seed. They are my 27th overall seed, and that's important this year because the committee will seed all of the top 32 teams, and they're grouped into pods of 4. So, seeds 13 through 16, your last 4 hosts, they on paper will be matched with the first 4 teams, 17 through 20, outside of the hosting. So that's important this year. But I have NC State as the 27th overall seed in Athens playing Georgia.
Seen that movie before, right? That's happened.
Yeah, I think 2 years ago.
Good. Yeah, a couple years ago, that was the case. So you have ECU in your first 4 out right now. Who else is in that grouping?
The first team out is Pitt, and then I had Oklahoma State, who, with how they look, I don't know if they're going to be there next week. East Carolina is the 3rd team out, and Miami as the 4th team out. Okay. And eventually I will expand the bubble probably in the next couple weeks once we get a little more data. But I just kept it the first 4 for now since it's still so kind of wide open.
Is there a team that is has the potential to really move up and become a conversation piece as a national seed, top national seed, or a real dark? I mean, last year UTSA wins at Texas, for example. I mean, is there someone in this grouping that, maybe got off to a little bit of a rough start or has had some injuries, but you think, okay, they really maybe stand to make some noise regardless of where they're seated?
Yeah, I think Kentucky's a team that I really like, and they were missing Tyler Bell, their shortstop, probable first-round pick. In my first edition of the Field of 64, they were a host. They were my 15 or 16, but they lost a series to Ole Miss, so they dropped to a 2 seed. But I really like that Kentucky team. I love Nick Mingione as a coach, so I could see them being that 2 seed that you get that's like, man, I really don't want to face them, or a 1 seed that's capable of winning and then winning wherever they end up in super regionals. So I like Kentucky a lot. There's a few teams like that too.
Okay. Sounds good, Wags. Where can people see your weekly Field of 64 forecast?
Yeah, go to on3.com, and you can also just search Jonathan Wagner on 3, or you can follow me on Twitter, J_Wag74, and I tweet it. I pin it every Monday, usually mid to late Monday afternoon. So, yeah, that's every week, and continue it every week through the season.
Awesome. And then you're on the Bucks on the Pond podcast. Is that correct?
That's right.
All right. Plug that before we go here.
Yeah, and also on Mondays, every Monday night with Stephen Igo hosts us, and myself and Scott Lorbatcher every Monday night on the Hoist the Colors YouTube, Hoist the Colors Twitter, Hoist the Colors Facebook. So 9 o'clock every Monday night. We recap every week and preview the week ahead. So it's a fun listen, especially right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Good stuff. Thank you, Wags. Great to have you back on. We'll see you next weekend.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
There he goes. Wags Pilk. I love when we have Wags on. He's the best.
It's awesome. I've got to see Wags a lot lately. Got to hang out with him last Friday. Got to hang out with him Tuesday night. We grabbed some chicken wings after the game Tuesday night.
Ah, okay.
Well, I had chicken wings. He had fried shrimp. Wags is a big fried shrimp guy.
Fried shrimp?
He loves fried shrimp, man.
Well,
that's his guilty pleasure.
That's his guilty pleasure. We love having Wags on. He's the best. He really is. Smart guy. He knows his baseball. He knows his college baseball. Let me tell you that. He's really one of the very best. I'm glad.
And I tell you, you want to know who your favorite team's top prospects are? He knows that as well because he does keep up so well with high school baseball, college baseball, and all that. So if you ever want to know what one of your favorite players is going to be hitting the majors this summer, just call Wags and say, hey, who's the best prospect for the Minnesota Twins? And he'll got you. Yeah. There you go.
At J_Wags74 on X. All right, good to have him on. I guess we'll do the author next week.
I guess so.
Which right now we have some holes. All right, Pilk, have a great week. Pilk, give me a prediction. Who's going to be the Final Four? Really quick. Do you have time?
Who's going to be the Final Four? Yeah, Illinois, Arizona.
Okay.
Michigan State.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're going very Big Ten like. I don't like those vibes.
I don't either. Now that I say them out loud, there's a lot of Big Ten. Hey, the Wild Kitties are doing it, man. Wild Kitties are winning this thing.
We'll see. All right, Blue Devils tonight. You can listen to that on Talk 103.7, and then baseball tonight also at 7. They'll get underway at 6:45 right here on 94.3 The Game. As you'll join our guy Dylan Johnson on the call from UTSA. All right, everybody have a great weekend. Back with you Monday for a brand new edition of the Patrick Johnson Show.